Thanks for coming by and checking out the show once again. Hopefully, I don't disappoint. Anyway, we're here to talk about whether Jesus was God or human and the ramifications of such things, like going around saying that you know God or that Jesus is God, and whether there is a hidden danger in saying such things. But we're here to talk a little bit about hate speech. Let's begin with some very basic hate speech, which is like making fun of somebody. So like we have an entire industry that we call comedy, and that we go around and we make fun of people. And as comedians, you shouldn't be going around saying, making fun of people unless you make fun of yourself first. Like if you can make light of yourself and make fun of yourself and the person across from you doesn't mind it, because for the sake of comedy, for the sake of entertainment, then, you have to have, it's like a consent. You can't make fun of someone who you don't have a consent for. It's like you can't have a relationship. You can't kiss anyone. You can't do any of that kind of stuff unless you have consent. And comedy is a little bit like that. You have to have the consent. So I'm not really into comedy. I like lighthearted comedies that don't really make fun of people, based more around slapstick and wise comedy and, logical and really thought out jokes, not just like making fun of people. And then there's gaslighting. Like gaslighting is when you tell someone that they're better than they are. So someone, say, writes a song and they come to you and say, hey, can you check out my song? And then you check out their song and you're like, do you want me to tell you the truth? It's like your girlfriend coming to you and saying, hey, how do I look? Do you tell them the truth, or do you gaslight them? So, you look great. Oh, this is a wonderful song. But all you're doing is feeding their ego. And of course, I come from a school where you're supposed to say 3 nice things to 1 constructive criticism. So if you really don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. But really, you should be saying a few good things about the piece of work and then a constructive criticism. So this is part of the problem too, is this gaslighting. That's hate speech. So making fun of somebody, hate speech. Gaslighting, hate speech. Lying. So saying yes when you mean no, or some of those other more, grievous, those more looming lies, like some serious lies. Like we can get into what lies are. Like if you're overcharging someone, that's a lie. So how many people out there are being overcharged? Probably a lot of people out there are being overworked, underpaid, and overcharged. So this is like a type of a lying as well, because they ramble on about how this is the country of the free and there's success and, fame, fortune around every corner. And that's a lie. That's a lie, a major lie. No, everyone is in it for themselves here. And if they try to get in it and to be a helpful human being, they usually get punished. But all that aside, we're talking about hate speech and whether or not Jesus is the Son of God. And then threats. So going around threatening people like hell. Oh, if you don't praise Jesus and you don't recognize Jesus, you're going to hell. That kind of stuff is nonsense, and it's hate speech. God is not about tactics, scare tactics. God is not about any of those things. He's not a judge. None of it. So you go around threatening people. Well, if you don't do this, or you blackmail somebody. So God is not into threats. If you don't believe in me, you're going to go to hell. God is not about making fun of somebody or gaslighting anyone or lying to anybody. This is the land of lies. And then you have cursing. So you go around cursing someone. May you forever be licking salt off of a toad for eternity. Some voodoo curse or something that you placed on somebody. And don't think that curses aren't real. And then the biggest form of hate speech of them all, as far as I'm concerned, is saying that someone is somebody they are not. So I want everyone to think really long and hard about this. Is Jesus God or human? Because if you go around saying he is God and he's not God, because that's all hate, a part of hate speech is saying someone is someone that they are not. So you better be really sure that Jesus is God before you go around saying Jesus is God. Now, the safer path is to simply say that Jesus was a human being. Now, it's really hard to say that if Jesus was God and you go around saying he was a human being, that's hate speech. But I think it's safer to say that Jesus is human and risk all this, because it's a very subtle form of hate speech, if you ask me, calling God a human being. I'm sure God can get over it. But you can't go around saying a human being is God. And even if you're saying that human being is God, it doesn't matter. You're saying that he is someone that he is not. So it's really easy. You see a bunch of people, they're rambling on about, oh, Jesus is God. There's an entire institution of people who believe Jesus is God. But what if I told you that was 2,000 years of hate speech that needs to come to an end? Jesus was the son of King Herod. Horrible. Herod violated the Virgin Mary after Joseph refused to pay his taxes. Yet she lived and was pregnant with the king's baby. That is the truth, and all else is a lie. So if you go around saying Jesus is God, you're a liar. If you go around saying Jesus is an interdimensional time traveler, or the son of Joseph, or the son of David, or a Roman soldier, or Caesar, or whoever, you are a liar. And you are spreading hate speech. This nonsense has to come to an end. We will not grow. We will not grow as a civilization. We will not evolve. We will not come to even know what it is to be the sweat on the brow of God until we stop lying to ourselves. Like, you do not have the right to take your sins and project them onto somebody else. Oh, Jesus died for my sins. He came. None of that story makes sense about a God who sacrifices his only son. Oh, yeah. And these rabid dogs here, I've been raising them, and they've just been biting and biting and biting. I got to put them down. I don't want to put them down, but I'm going to sacrifice my son to them instead. Like, that makes no sense. None whatsoever. You guys believe in a God that likes little girls and practices child sacrifice. And it says in the Bible, be very careful of the gods you serve, because the world will appear that way. So I want you to really think hard here. Who is this God that you believe in who likes little girls and practices child sacrifice? And then I want you to look into the world and see what's going on, because that is the God you serve. You don't serve the God of love, because there'd be lots of love going on. You don't serve the God of charity, or there'd be a lot of charity going on. No, you serve the God who likes little girls and practices child sacrifice, tough love. So that's the world we live in. And that's how simple it is. So I just want everyone to think really hard about going around saying that someone is someone they are not, even if you are claiming that person is God. It's hate speech, no matter how you look at it. Now, we can end 2,000 years of ignorance. We can end 2,000 years of darkness. We can take this lie and shove it down the toilet. Because this is where hate begins. When you go around saying you know God. You do not have the right to say that. You have no clue. None of you. Not the politician, not the preacher, not the teacher. None of you are actually going on and actually saying the truth. Jesus is God. Jesus was a human being like the rest of us, who defeated the odds, who loved, who had fears, always tempted to do the right thing, even though it will cost you everything in that hour. If you want to say Jesus was something, say he was a saint. Say Jesus was King of Kings. Say Jesus was the crux of creation, the height of humanity, the zenith, the sacrificial lamb. All these titles are fair titles, but Jesus is not God. And Jesus never held the title of Lord. I don't know what school you went to, but the school I went to taught me that God spoke to the Lord, who spoke to the King, who spoke to the serfs. And that's all Savior means, is just another word for serf. And Jesus was not God. Jesus was not the Lord, but he was King. He was the pauper King of the Holy Land. When he said, "This is my Father's house," he was talking literally. Herod built the temple. I want to see the world get better. And some subtle changes can really make this place shine. But going around saying Jesus is God is not going to make this place shine. It's just going to fall farther into darkness. I really want you to think really hard about the God you serve. Don't get caught up in the story or any of those ethical and moral dilemmas that they throw in your face, or the parables or any of that stuff. Stick to the plot points. The plot points. Matthew 1 introduces King Herod, evil King Herod. Matthew 2 sees the 3 wise men show up at Herod's door looking for Jesus because they heard that a new king was born. They leave. Jesus. Herod freaks out, starts slaughtering all the children of Israel looking for Jesus, chases them all the way to Egypt, where he seeks sanctuary, where Joseph and Mary take little baby Jesus and seek sanctuary. And of all places, Egypt. Now, I don't know if you know the laws of asylum. I don't know if you know the laws of sanctuary, but you can't just go around saying, "Well, I'm God, please provide me sanctuary." Well, who's killing you? Well, the king of the other land is trying to kill me. Okay, well, that is definitely here. You come in here, you can have asylum if the ruler of your country is trying to kill you. But if someone else is trying to kill you, they get out the authorities. We'll contact the authorities and they'll deal with it. But when the head or the minister or the president or the king, wants you dead, the minister wants you dead, you got no other choice. You got to go to another country and seek asylum. I pray for us all. All they have to do is amend the Employment Insurance Act to reflect math, to put in a child and hard labor clause, and everything would be a little bit better for everyone. We could all stop going around saying Jesus was God. That would make everything a lot better. You can't go around saying, "If you don't believe in me, you're going to hell. If you don't believe in Jesus, you're going to hell." That's a threat. It's hate speech. And I don't know how else to explain it to you all. Threatening people with hell is hate speech. Going around saying Jesus is God is hate speech. So the only question is, do you want to end 2,000 years of hate speech? So I implore every church and every temple, because in the future, if you go around saying these things, because all the old rituals are dead. Baptism, speaking in tongues, placing your hands on people, saying you're going to ostracize them from demons. All this is a form of hate and fear. And demons love it. They love the entertainment. All you're doing is traumatizing that person. We all have demons we must face, but we must face them alone. Because if we don't face them alone, we will never get into a healthy relationship, because you're carrying around demons or baggage or whatever you want to call it. So they suggest you go get yourself a little place on your own, afford it yourself, take care of your own demons, get your act together, then go out into the world and start bothering people. Anyways, that's my morning rant. I hope we've all learned something. Please, like, Jesus was the son of King Herod. Good son of the evil king who tried to do the right thing. It says in the Bible not to take anything on earth or in heaven or hell and put it on a pedestal. Do not idolize anyone or anything, including God. That's what it says. And they say I'm that I'm the troll because I'm out there spreading the truth. I'm actually trying to stick to a historical position and trying to relate to Jesus, not just start tossing my sins on him because he's God and God will take it all on the chin. Huh? Where are you guys? Dog. Yeah. He discards the gate to hell. You know, he would like me to take him for a walk occasionally, but where's George? You got something to say, George? Where'd you go? George, where are you? I'm down here, man. Like, come on, man, this is a serious thing. You really think you want to talk about this? Like, come on. Come on, people. Oh, where's the camera? Come on, people. Don't you get what I'm saying? Huh? You can't go around saying someone is someone and they're not. So you better make sure that Jesus is God before you go around saying he's God. Understand? We're all just dust. We're just all made of bones and flesh. Ah! George, he's a funny guy. He tries to keep it light around here. Anyways, I guess that's my talk for today. Like, we all know what hate speech is. If you have a problem, watch this video again. I'll go over the topics. Hate speech, saying someone is someone they are not, even if that person is God. Cursing. Shall your leeches, whatever, come upon you? Shall misfortune come upon you? You can't go around cursing or calling people names or swearing. We were told this. Get creative. You don't just go up to a woman and say, hey, I want some. Can you give me some? No, you give her some flowers. If she doesn't like it, tough luck. You tried to be a gentleman. So just coming right out and saying it. And threats. So you can't threaten people with hell. You can't threaten people with eviction. You can't threaten people with failure. If you don't do this, or if you don't take this pill, shoving pills down kids' throats. We should all be ashamed of ourselves. We can just slow the boat down. That's what can go on. Just the sacrificing of children. Remember that God you serve? Just the grooming of children. And gaslighting. Or lying. When you lie to someone, and lies can be very simple when you just have to say yes when you mean no. And you've become a liar. And then the funny part about it is you say yes when you mean no. You end up in this situation. And you don't want to tell another white lie to get out of this compromised position you got yourself in, because you've been telling 2 lies. So you're willing to tell a lie to get yourself into a compromised position, but you're not willing to tell a lie to get yourself out of a compromised position? Yeah, because you're going to be telling 2 lies. And then you have gaslighting, telling someone they're wonderful and great. It's okay to tell someone they're wonderful and great, but, let's keep it real. That was a pretty good job. That was decent. Like, you can't come to me with a song, because I'm a songwriter. I'm like probably the greatest songwriter of all time, believe it or not. So if someone comes to me, they're always like, tell me, Lloyd, what about my song? Tell me about my song. And I have to be real with them, just like a director has to be real. People in the industry have to be real with one another. So you have to be polite, and you can give some constructive criticism, but you got to be more polite and say good things than the bad things. You can't just go around saying people are and point out all their bad traits and stuff. Everyone's got some good traits. Come on. We're not all evil. We're not all bad. So that's gaslighting. It's like, well, I usually just say, what's a good start? And then they go, oh, that's a good start. You didn't tell me my song was good. And then they give up. So you can't go around gaslighting. You got to be polite, and you got to, be suave about it. And then making fun of somebody. You really can't go around making fun of people, unless you have consent. And unless you're in Hollywood and you're a comedian in Hollywood, you really don't have consent to make fun of anybody. The comedians have consent because they find a little form that says that they can make fun of each other. That politicians have signed something that says that the media can make fun of them within reason. And so they take that. And so as long as you're mature about it, you can take jokes and be comical. But like I said, I like smart comedy. What's funny to me is like Robin Williams, Jumanji and Mrs. Doubtfire and Hook. There's none of that crazy making fun of people and all that kind of stuff. There's some slapstick in there. Anyways, now that we know that the difference with what hate speech is and how you can't go around saying Jesus is God, because I'm telling you, they're going to shut down every temple, every church that goes around saying Jesus is God, because it all has to come to an end. Unless you want to fall into another 2,000 years of darkness. I have nothing to worry about, because God always comes looking for me, no matter what shape I'm in. God always comes looking for me to build him a boat, write a song, march on Rome, and that's never going to change. Anyway, bye for now. Thanks for tuning in. And I'm still not sure where to look. Like, does anybody got any tips? Maybe I should put like little markers that I look at, like up here or something. I can go over here. I don't actually look at the camera, which I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to look at the camera. I'm trying to look at myself and see if I got my horns on right there. Now I'm a white rhinoceros. Anyways, peace out.